Hello, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss few more aggregate function of DB2 SQL. So for same, we will use the command strsql to go to the to execute the SQL command. So I will run the query strsql. So this is the command for going to the SQL screen. Now here we can execute all the SQL statements. So first of all, I will show you the data on which we will be using the functions average and count. Okay, so these are the two functions that we will discuss in this session. So firstly, we will see the data. So for that, we will run the query select star from and then file name. So my file name is student pf. Now hit enter. So we have the 5 records in this file. Now we will see how we can utilize the function average and count. So first of all, we will discuss about the average function. So suppose if the requirement is like that, we have to find out the average of any particular numbers. So in that case, we use the average function. So if we talk about this file, so here we have one field that is student marks, and you want to find out the average of all the student marks. Okay, so in this case we have only 5 record, but it might be possible there are more than 5 records or more than 1,000 record. So in that case it will be very easy for us to utilize the function and directly calculate the average of those marks. Okay, so we will see now this by executing the query. So to execute the query, just write select star from and then file name, that is student pf. Okay, now take F4. Now here go to the select field and then take F4 again. Now press F11. So it will show the text name for all the fields. Now select the student marks because we want to calculate the average of student marks. So take option 1 and hit enter. Okay, now what we will do, we will use the function average. So just write AVG, then opening bracket, parenthesis and closing parenthesis, and then field name, and now just hit enter. So once you hit enter, you can see that now we have the average of the entire field. So whatever the data we have stored in the student marks, it will fetch out the average for that fields. Okay, so if I press F9 again, so this is the query that was executed by selecting the field. Like we can take the F4 and select the field, else or if you have good hands-on on DB2 SQL, then you can directly write this query. So the main query is AVG and then field name on which we want to calculate the average, and then from and the file name. So that's how we use average function. Now we will see the count function. So now I will retrieve this query. So if you want to retrieve any previously executed query, so just click on that query and press F9. So it will fetch out that query. Now hit enter. So now so we will discuss about the counts function. So count function is mainly used to find out the total number of count for a specific condition. So suppose if the requirement is that we have to find out the student whose marks are equal to 5, or is there any specific condition on which we found if on which we want to find out the exact count of the specific condition. So in that case we will find out the we will use the count function. Okay, so what we will do, we will execute the count function on this field. Okay, so it will count the records for this field, and then it will show the record to us, the total number of count of these record. So just run the query select star from student pf. Now take F4, go to the select field, take F4 again, and we can choose any of the field, but for now we will take student marks. Select option 1, hit enter. Now here we will use the function that is count. Okay, so now opening parenthesis and keep this student marks inside the parenthesis, and now hit enter. Once you hit enter, it will show you the count of all the records lies in this file. Okay, mainly for the field student marks. So that's how we can find out the exact count of the number of records, or for any particular condition. Okay, and if you just want to find out the total number of record, like if the need is that we have to find out the total number of records in file, so in that case what we will do, we will directly pass the asterisk that represent all. So it will calculate the count for all the records, and then it shows us. So here we can see that it returns 5, because at the moment we have only 5 record in our file. So that's how we can use the count function. And as we can and as we can assign a alias name to any of the fields, so here we can also use the alias by writing as, and then the name of the column that we want to give. So total records. Now hit enter. So we can see that total record, it is showing as a total record, and the output is 5, because as of now we have only 5 records in our file. So that's how we can use the average and count function. So that's all for this session. In the upcoming session we will discuss few more functions and other topics. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.